Good morning, mi gente. It's 9 a.m. Wait, it's 9 a.m. I know. Gay people and an LGBTQ plus Kiki at 9 in the freaking morning. That's why I'm still in bed. Me? I'm FayWhat, and I'm going to help you get your week started off right. We have lots of fun things to talk about. It's going to be a great week.
Rainbows, gay boys, hashtag that girl, sunbeams, drag queens, L-word, is that girl, the girl of all our dreams. She's everything that every girl should be. Aqua, South Beach, hashtag that girl, pride-filled, tea-dance, Wilton, is that girl, Latina, but she's universal too. If you find a girl to love, only one girl to love, then she'll be that girl too. That girl.
The FayWhat Show is America's first LGBTQ plus morning show, and we're live right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire Television, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm also on demand, baby. It's Monday, January 29th, 2024. Wow, January is almost over. Can you freaking believe that? All right, folks, let's kiki about what's going on in the LGBTQ plus community. I have a side piece. Yeah, I called him a side piece. Joining me in bed for some conversation. What did you think I was talking about? Our first segment is called Gay Boys Sleep Late. And this morning, I'm joined by my gay guy pal, one of my co-hosts on Happening Out Television Network, as well as a life coach and leather sir. He is Mark Pettitt. Good morning, Mark, and welcome to Faye's Bed.
Good morning, Faye.
Un besito. Give me a kiss. Mwah. I miss
Give you many besitos.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
How are you feeling? You look thinner.
Thinner?
Well, I haven't seen you since the holidays, and you look thinner. Like most people have gained, like, you know, a couple pounds because it's the holidays, and you're just...
You're coming on the FayWhat Show. There is nothing to hide. So
I know.
been doing this morning, did a few laps around Mary Circle. Yes, that is the name of the street that I live on, Mary Circle. It could not be gayer than that. So yeah, you got to stay in shape to keep up with this lesbian. Jesus.
Or Jesus, or to keep up with your boo. I saw you and Luke. What were we watching? We went to go see Joe Posa. We went to go see for Cal's birthday. Or Cal, you guys know Cal Gajraj, right? He's also one of my boys in bed. We were celebrating his birthday, so we went to Sunshine Cathedral where Joe Posa was. He was just being his best self. He was doing Barbara Streisand. He did Judy Garland, Joan Rivers, who was my favorite. And we went to celebrate Cal's birthday, and you brought your boo, your delicious morsel of London yumminess, Mr. Luke. I hadn't seen him in a bit. How are you kids?
Oh, we're so good. We've the links by Luke, the chainmail that obviously we're
wearing, we're rocking.
We have been really amping that up, and it's been fun. We just did My Hollywood Pride. Thank you, everyone, for coming out to My Hollywood
so
Pride
much fun.
with the hostess, with the mostess, FayWhat.
I know. Oh my goodness! You saw me walking around with my harness, right? Yeah. No, I love it that much.
It is so cool when like people just walk by, and if they've already bought something, they're always like, you know, always showing, and like they're always wearing it. It makes me so happy to make people
more
proud.
gay.
Yes. Yes. This is what Republicans are afraid of. Like, I'm selling the merch, baby. Come on
That's
board.
what they're afraid of, especially how dope it is, you know? Because the thing, again, I'm not just saying that because he's sitting next to me, right? They have some pieces where it's like a whole, like, shoulder piece, right? Where I could just see, like, Kitty Meow or one of these incredible drag queens wearing those pieces on stage. They do just such incredible stuff. If you ever get to go see them wherever they're out and about, right? Follow them on social media and see where they're at because they'll do something custom for you, and it's just beautiful.
Yes, linksbyluke.com.
There.
End
okay.
of
And Luke, we love you. All right, let's start talking about some stuff, okay? Let's talk about J-Lo. So Jennifer Lopez has been adored by the LGBTQ plus community forever, having celebrated queer lives throughout her career in the charts and on screen. Now J-Lo has proved her dedication to her LGBTQ plus fans once again, gate crashing a performance by drag queen Jo Lopez at the Abbey Sunday service drag brunch in the gay LA hotspot. There's the receipts shared on X where Jennifer Lopez's drag counterpart loses it as J-Lo pops out from behind a curtain. The star also shared behind-the-scenes snaps wearing Fendi and dancing De Lola Life. Cocktails in hand. How do you say that? De Lola Life. Right?
De Lola Life.
De Lola Life. Oh, there it is. Dancing De Lola Life. Cocktails in hand. Watch this. Yes, I need a Sunday service with J-Lo and her De Lo Life. De Lo Lola. Wait, De Lola wife. De Lola wife. De Lola Life.
I adore me some. Okay, and this drag queen's name, which is what? Oh shoot! Now it just
Joe, wasn't it Joe?
yeah, just Joe Lopez.
Yeah, that's it. Like, come on.
That is the best. Yeah, I'm just Joe Lopez. Like it sounds like that should be your mechanic, and she is turning out some chiffon. I have loved J-Lo since probably early '90s when she was a fly girl on
In Living Color, bro.
In Living Color.
Wow.
Oh, me and my brother in our room, like putting on music and trying to imitate all the little dance moves, trying to send in audition tapes. Didn't know they weren't hiring little white boys at that time, but that did not slow us down. I think she's always been a corner in the community for representation, no matter where she's been, how she's served.
Yeah.
Have you seen her in concert?
Yes, I have. And she's incredible. I saw her perform at Times Square. I've seen her perform at a couple things. And she is a class act. It's a performance that you will walk away with saying, wow, what an experience, right? She's not the best singer. She's not, and I don't care. Don't kill me for it, right? But the entertainment value's there. You get the dancing. You get all the stuff on the stage. You get a performance.
You get full glam. With her.
Yep.
And just her fitness level is astounding. She's
Is she like 50 something now?
I saw her on her 50th birthday, which was I think 4 or 5 years ago.
A couple of years ago down here. Yes.
And I was tired, like just 2 songs in. I'm like, if I can do that at 50, I'm not going to wear any clothes on stage either.
Right?
Well, and now I'm almost 50 and not wearing any clothes on stage.
And now you're not wearing any clothes on stage. Yeah,
what you asked for,
but at least you wear cute socks, and that's all that matters. I love your socks. They're so cute.
Thank you.
What was I going to say? Oh, the drag queen. That's who I was thinking of. Again, like you said, Joe Lopez. Yo, what a cool experience. What a cool memory to tell somebody down the line, right? I'm here performing at the mother effing Abbey, and J-Lo decides to pop out from behind the curtain as I'm performing her music.
I'm sure she was just like, okay, I can have a heart attack and die now.
Yeah,
just
I can finish now.
Take this picture. That's what's going to be above the casket. Like, it's not getting bigger or better than that.
That's it. I love that. And I love when our straight celebrities that we put up on these high pedestals come down for a second and just go, last week I did a story on Dolly Parton giving a drag queen a guitar. Like, it's things like that they keep us loving you more. Okay, iconic symbols. So keep on doing what you're doing.
Honorary gays.
Honorary gays. There you are. Next, while on vacation in Colombia, Hamish Spencer, a professor of zoology at the University of Otago in New Zealand, spotted a blue and green wild honeycreeper bird with the help of an amateur ornithologist, John Murillo. Usually, honeycreeper females have green feathers, while males have blue feathers. But this bird had both green and blue plumage. As they didn't capture the bird, it's unknown if it has male and female reproductive organs. But nevertheless, this phenomenon called bilateral genothromorph is rare and is sure as hell beautiful. It's just stunning. Could this bird have been trans? Nature is more diverse than some think. What are we all talking about? Tell me how to say that word again, Mark.
Gynandromorph.
Gynandromorph.
It comes from like Greek and Latin.
Gynandromorph. Okay, use it in a sentence.
So do you know that people can be gynandromorph as well?
Oh, okay. There you go. All right. Wow. Great. So what do you think about this story? Like, I know that, I bothered Mark before and I go, Mark, I know we're doing a story on a bird. You think I'm silly, right? And your answer was?
My answer was, I think it's the coolest story that we're doing today. I mean, when you look at LGBTQIA, we spend so much time in the L, the G, and the B, getting better about the T.
Getting better about the Q.
But I would bet you that 2 or 3 people out of 10 couldn't tell you what the I and the A even stand for in there. And so these birds do allow a little bit of discussion around I.
Yeah.
The intersex.
The intersex.
People with genitalia that's not standard for what they are genetically. And
or their gender identity, yeah.
Yeah, intersex people can be transgender also. They can be a lot of things except in our discussions. Wow. Apparently.
Wow, that was deep.
Well, and it's pretty rare. I think it's less than 0.5%, but I think that we've gotten better about every other letter, even including the A's, like in asexuals. Have you seen Heartthrob?
Yes, of course.
That was one of the central characters, really bringing that out. And I've never
education. I learned a lot.
I've never had more empathy. I've always kind of wondered, well, why are they even in the category? Why is that letter there? And when you really see their struggle for acceptance, to be understood, and their romantic, and their romantic tendencies, what they need as people, they're in the right place in our community.
They are, and that's why I thought the story was so important, because again, going back to basics, right? Going back to nature. Nature shows us that there's nothing wrong with being LGBTQ+. Like, nothing at all. There are gay penguins, right? I mean, there are countless amount of creatures that don't even look at sex as a thing aside from procreation. So that's why I thought that the story was interesting. And the fact that they found it in my roots, my hometown, my place that made FayWhat? Colombia. Well, it made FayWhat cocaine and coffee, but in that order probably. But, But
thanks for sticking with the coffee.
But just now. All right. Next, Mean Girls star Renee Rapp joined the cacophony of voices slamming Joe Coy's Golden Globes opening monologue. During the 6-minute set, he poked fun at Greta Gerwig's Barbie, calling it a film based on a plastic doll with big boobies. Yeah, he said that. Then turned his attention to Tay-Tay. You don't ever mess with Tay-Tay, right? And her romance with her relationship with her NFL star, Travis, right? So as fans on social media shared their criticism of the set, celebrities have also made their thoughts known, to which Mean Girls star Renee has also added her 2 cents.
My name is Renee, and I'm going to do my out first. My out first is the man that yelled at me this morning at 8 a.m. and told me to smile, go to hell. And also my out is the man that was making a bunch of jokes about women last night at the Golden Globes. My in is in Gallery's belt. If you flash the belt, it's really cute. It was the first thing that caught my eye this morning. I just love it.
Yeah, I guess Renee Rapp also didn't like Joe Coy's opening monologue. Guess what? I didn't either. What are we all talking about? What do you think? You're cringing.
Oh, I knew this was going to be a topic because I follow you on the socials, and you were during the monologue.
I was dying. I was dying. What an opportunity lost. Okay, I could just see all these people that are Joe Coy fans completely losing their futures just there, in that moment. His monologue hurt me.
Renee is right, and you're right, and I think that the negative criticism on the routine overall is right, but I think that there's some other things that are right that we need to look at too, like the amount of time that he had to prepare.
No bullshit
for that. For that set.
Nope. 10 days. Don't give a shit. Enough time.
And I don't know what changes were thrown at the last minute. If he was supposed to have an opener that warmed people up and that
doesn't
set
work
the
that
stage.
way. It's the Golden Globes Award. Okay. As
just as a performer, my heart goes out to him
Of
because
course.
it's a bomb.
And it's not easy.
And I know he didn't want to bomb. I know he didn't want to tick people
as a
off.
host, it hurt me. Okay, as a host, okay.
Because you're like, I could have done that gig.
I could have done that gig and I would have done a better job. And I'm not even talking shit. I would have done a better job. 10 days to prepare would have been more than enough time. If you have the right people around you and you have the right material and you are comfortable with the material, he obviously did not go up there and try this material on anybody. Okay. The delivery was off. All right. As a host, you never, ever, ever make excuses while you're doing the opening monologue.
And
you don't blame it on writers.
You can't do it cold. And I do think that it was up to the Emmys to be like, hey, let's see what you got. And I don't know that any of that happened.
I don't think it's up to the Emmys to do that. Right. And I think that performers are the most insecure mother effers in life. Okay. I'm speaking about myself as well. We are insecure mofos. We need you to tell us how great we are, right? We need all of that. And you can't go and roast all these people in this room, Joe. You're not that famous to be going after Tay-Tay. You never go after Tay-Tay, first of all, you know? You just have to be.
It's got to be funny.
It's got to be funny. There's a way to make things funny and not rude or mean. And it felt, and that is, okay, I've seen Joe perform live, and that's what he does. The beginning of his stand-up is grabbing people from the audience and making fun of them. That's different. These people paid for you to make fun of them. They expect that sitting in the front row. You can't do that to celebrities and stars. They're just not, they're just not made that way.
Because they're as insecure as you are.
Yes.
So you're making fun of them like that. I mean, there's an art to the roast, and he was going in with more of a stand-up comedy jab routine, and it didn't work. But I hope that he makes something of it, that he can make fun of himself in his next act. I do think that there's a way to really kind of turn this around, but it's going to be on him.
It's going to be on him. And it was just such a huge opportunity lost. Like, I could just, because I saw I saw a lot of the interviews before the Golden Globes, right? And he would keep on saying, I'm doing this for my community. Like, maybe there's a kid, that's growing up, Asian, thinking, oh, maybe I can do this because Joe does it, right? And at that moment on that stage, when he was effing up that monologue, I could feel that just disintegrate. Like, I felt bad for those people, Joe was just here in Miami doing a show last week that was sold out. And I asked my friends, did he even mention the Golden Globes? They said, nope, not at all. So he stuck to the script. Joe has to depend on his writers and his stuff. He can't just do it on a whim in 10 days. He just can't. It's the opportunity of a lifetime. Did you see the Emmys?
No.
Okay, you should have seen the Emmys, all right? What's his name? Something Anderson. He was incredible, okay? And he was relatable, and he was fun. And people in the audience, he made them feel like his friends, not their competition, or not someone that was kind of hiding, afraid, because, you could even you could see some of the faces, some of the looks on some of the faces.
You could see it on his face. He knew what he was doing. He knew that he was going down the drain.
And at that moment, you say, I got new writers, or I didn't write this myself. You don't say that stuff. That's the first thing. You don't throw blame on someone else. If anything, blame it on yourself, right? And say you suck or something. But you
turn it around.
Turn it around. My writers, blah, blah, blah. I only had 10 days. This is what you get when I have this much time to prepare.
I thought, Miss Hostess, you were going to totally be on. That's how you know this is not planned. I thought you were going to totally be on his side.
You really thought?
With no lack of preparation. And you host all this stuff, so you know how hard it is. I'm like,
I do.
Oh, she's going to be soft on him.
I do. But you know what? But I get a run of show, and I start bothering people for a run of show like weeks before, because I like to be prepared, right? Because it's important to me to be on that stage and host this event to the best of my ability. And Joe did not do that. I'm sorry. I hope he gets another chance. No, I don't. You don't get another chance like this. This is a once in a lifetime, and you blew it. You blew it, bro. And Renee Rapp also agrees from Mean Girls. Did you see Mean Girls, by the way? I haven't seen it yet.
Like the remake of it?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
No, I haven't either. Is it
in theaters?
It's in theaters, and I heard it sucked. Well, so go check it out and tell me if it's good or bad. I heard it sucked.
We're not paying for it, apparently.
We're not paying for it. We're going to wait till it streams, and then we're going to have a party at Mark's house.
And we're going to turn the volume all the way down, and we're just going to make fun of it all the way through.
The whole entire time. Yeah. You saw the original, obviously.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Iconic.
Yeah. Regina. What was it? You know that all the boys in Mean Girls are gay?
All
of them.
No, I didn't know that.
That's a fun fact. There was a story on Queerty last week. Thank you, Queerty. That said that it's funny enough, all the boys that came out that were on that movie, all are gay.
That were in the original movie
Yes.
have all since come out.
Yes, all of them.
Atta boys.
That boys. We love that kind of story. Next, the 4-time Academy Award nominee Annette Bening has called on Republicans to stop stoking anti-trans hatred. She was talking about her support for her transgender son, Stephen Ira, and advocating trans rights during a recent appearance on The View. She stated the importance of having a strong Republican Party, but said she does not want people who stoke up fear. Bening also expressed a hope that people find one trans person in life, because then only they can understand how hatred makes trans people feel. Bening is the star of the new movie Naiad, the famous lesbian swimmer who made headlines for the swim from Cuba to Key West.
Well, it's true. I think once my son is now 32. He's my oldest. So at the beginning, I felt very protective of his privacy because he's married. He's the son of these two famous people. So I felt very protective, and I felt it was his right to say what he wanted to say publicly or not. And now, as time has gone on, especially now with what's happening, unfortunately, in the political process, that trans people are being used, fear and ignorance is being stoked against trans people in the most frightening way. It's so unfair, and I feel very, very strongly about it. I am a Democrat. We need a strong Republican Party. We need a strong opposition, but we don't need people to stoke up fear. So what I would say is, first of all, thank you. I would hope that people would find someone in their lives who's a trans person, and there might be someone that they don't know who works at the grocery store, or their doctor, or their teacher, or I don't know, it's just their post office worker, someone in their lives who is just like they are. They happen to be trans.
Annette Bening said it all and said it freaking well. What are we all talking about? What do you think? I like her even more now.
Honorary gay.
John.
Done.
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 Done. Come on over. Get in bed.
Just to me, I think that this is, it's so inspiring to see a mom stand up for her kid, because there are so many people watching that their mom has never stood up for them, or is not friends with them on social media because they don't want to mix their crowds together. I'm very, very blessed to have a super supportive and cheerleader mom.
That's so beautiful.
Hi, Mrs. Moffat.
Oh, yeah.
And she's gorgeous.
Mrs. Moffat is dope sauce. Okay, by the way, honestly, if I was a little older, I'd hit it. I'm just saying.
Well, and you might not be too young for her.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So yeah, I think that this is really powerful. Part of the language here reminds me, though, of like when I was young, gay, and coming out, that there were people like who just never met or knew a gay person at that time, which like sounds ridiculous now. Like, what do you mean you don't know any gay people? It's because we didn't introduce ourselves. We stuck to ourselves. Keep your nose down. And there is a lot of, I think, burden in having to always come out and explain yourself and all of that. And I think that trans people are now in that space where it's hard, but you've got to be open to the questions. You've got to be, willing to be vulnerable. It's part of the activism that's needed now, is just being yourself and out.
And it's so hard to say that because obviously myself or Mark are not living the trans experience, right? So we don't know, and we can't even begin to explain what that is like, right? But we know that representation matters, and we know that visibility means everything, right? Like you said, there were people, there's still people that, are not friends with anybody in the LGBTQ plus community that they know of. Because that's what I tell people. They're like, oh, I don't know anybody that's gay. Bitch, yes, you do. Trust, okay? They're just not out to you, it's this rhetoric of hate brings upon misinformation, miseducation, right? And that's, not all Republicans are bad. We can't put all Republicans under one umbrella. But this rhetoric that's just completely focused on the T, right, it has got to stop.
It's intentionally dehumanizing. Yeah. That this isn't really a person. This is a bad being. This is, the devil, all that kind of crap. And it's just, I think they're just picking on a group that is small enough to think that they won't really fight back.
Yeah.
And it's a bullying kind of move.
Yeah, but think about it. If you're a trans person and you're early transitioning, maybe your paperwork doesn't match, maybe you're in the transitional phase. You've got so many bigger fish to fry, right? You've got bigger shit to worry about, like, a home and money and all that kind of stuff and your safety that like you're not thinking about all this other crap, And so there might be moments where somebody might come up to you with a question and you might not be in the right frame of mind to answer that, And it's like, okay, you don't want to, or you've had a rough day, And
they're usually stupid questions.
And they're most of the time stupid questions and you have to answer them. And I say sorry for you having to answer them, But if you're not in the right frame of mind to answer it, send them over to Trans Social, send them over to Trans Inclusive, send them over to Sunsurf, send them over to Tatiana, Adriana, all these incredible women in our community that have the answers. Yeah, right? You don't
have to be the martyr.
And you have to be the martyr.
Just have good references.
Just have good references. Point them in the right direction, right? This person might have taken all their muster to ask you this question, and they might never ask somebody else that question, and it's so necessary. Right?
Right on.
Right. All right. Annette Bening, I like you more. All right.
Honorary gay.
I have to watch Naiad, by the way. I have to watch it. All right. Finally, Kristen Stewart, who identifies as queer, has gone on to star in more explicitly LGBTQ plus films in recent years. But talking to Variety in a new cover interview, Stewart said that looking at some of the projects that she made before she came out, she can't deny the presence of obvious gay undertones. The most obvious example? Well, she says is the Twilight Saga, which was written by a Mormon woman. In Stewart's view, the book was all about oppression and wanting what's going to destroy you, which is gay, right? A Mormon wrote a gay Twilight. Take that in. What are we all talking about? Did you see Twilight?
Of course I saw Twilight. No. I did not believe that this. I was reading through, like, what are you talking about? A Mormon wrote this? And then the whole story just made sense.
Then it made sense.
Like the most oppressed person living their best fantasy on that little Mormon typewriter.
Yep.
No, I think they can use computers, can't they?
Now they can.
Yeah.
I think that just passed the other day, so they're good,
But she's absolutely right. It does really give you that angst of, I want to be who I'm supposed to be. I want to love who I'm supposed to love. And he's a vampire, but it's all analogy for the human condition.
That makes sense. I just remember watching those Twilight shows, and I loosely, right? Because I wasn't too invested in them, and just wanting the boys to kiss.
I watched it loosely thinking that too.
I'm just saying.
That little sparkly vampire skin.
Ooh, yes. I love that. Did you see Interview with a Vampire?
Only 95 times.
Really? Come on, there's something about that. New Souls, if you've never seen, go see the original.
When the little Kristen, I forgot that was even her. When little Kristen Stewart, she's having her first drink of blood and she pulls up, I want some more. Oh, it's the creepiest shit you've ever seen.
But it's a dope
yes.
movie.
You younger folks, go back and
watch it. Go back and watch it and just watch it naked. I'm telling you. And loosely and naked. All right? All right. The FayWhat Show is part of one of the largest LGBTQ plus media companies in America. And Hotspots Magazine has been documenting the LGBTQ plus experience for 37 years. And Happening Out Television Network has been bringing you daily LGBTQ plus news, talk shows, and more for 4 years. In the same model of PBS and NPR, we are a nonprofit 501c3 organization whose mission is to educate and serve the LGBTQ plus community. So next, at the FayWhat Show, we need to help all my gay boys, right? I've got like my own core crew of like 20 gay boys that I go to for everything, right? And then there's the rest of the gay boys in the world that I always want to help, right? So we started this new segment called Dear Faye. In our segment, Dear Faye, I provide my expert lesbian knowledge. Sure. And experience as a gay boy to help my fellow gay boys, all right? And this week, I got a distressing email that I wanted to share with you, but I also wanted Mark to help me out with this as my gay boy in bed today, all right?
We'll do my best.
All right, let's
hear
do it. All right, let's do it. Hi, FayWhat. I adore your show. I think you are so freaking fabulous.
That is not even on the screen.
Oh, yeah, it's not.
FayWhat, read that. Mirror, mirror on the wall.
I really thought, I felt that this person was saying that to me. So that's why I said, whatever, Mark. Okay, I'll read the email. Mother effer.
Busted.
Damn it. Hi, FayWhat. Last fall, I hooked up with this guy after a hunter's night. God, haven't we all? We were both a little tipsy and he invited me back to his place. We had a good time, although we didn't exchange numbers or anything afterwards. Then a couple weeks ago, we ran into each other again on Grindr. I immediately knew we had met before, so I invited him over to my place. Again, it was a fun time, but both of us didn't really initiate keeping in contact. Well, last weekend, I ran into him again at Abbey. But what's weird is when I look over at him, he would sort of glance at me and then look away as if he had no freaking idea who I was. I kept trying to get his attention, but he wouldn't acknowledge me. Finally, I walked over and said, hi. He looked at me like he'd never seen me before in his freaking life. Then he put his hand out to introduce himself. I was kind of like, we've met before. And he said, oh, we have? He had no idea that we had sex not once, but twice. When I reminded him, he sort of mumbled an uncomfortable apology and then left. It was awkward and a little bit humiliating. I know it was just a casual thing, but should I be offended that someone didn't even remember me after hooking up multiple times? It's making me question if maybe I'm a bad lay. Am I really that forgettable? Signed, Johnny Who.
You're not that forgettable, but you are that delusional girl.
Ay, Johnny, Dios mío. Okay.
Pobrecito.
Pobrecito.
Hablamos, okay?
Hablamos ahora.
So you can't be like, I'm going for a casual thing at the club. I'm going for a casual thing at the Grindr, and then be all butthurt that he does not remember you.
But twice, Mark.
Yeah, but I don't think somebody's actually looking for something casual. He wants to be remembered. He wanted to be recognized. He wanted a repeat that built upon it. But I'm also telling you, I think that you are looking at the wrong part of this cloud. That means every time you lay that man, he's going to act like it's the first time. You need to find out his schedule of being at Hunter's and don't go up there with that embarrassing bullshit of, do you remember me? Could that look any needier? Just be like, I've never seen you before.
Oh my God. Listen, that is a great point.
I mean, you felt humiliated. Imagine how he felt in that situation.
Well, I mean, he's fine. The other guy's fine. He's not even thinking about who like you said.
No, he left right away.
Like he left because you made him uncomfortable, you know? God, it's one of the, you're right. It's not a casual thing if you're worried about it. I think you should take advantage of the situation that he thinks that it's the first time every single time with you, right? Like next time, like, you know, I don't know, draw on his back or like bite him or like cut a piece of his hair off or like steal his pillow or like
mark your phone number on him, like in Memento.
Oh, or on the wall. Like of his bed. Like, I don't know, do something for him not to forget you the next time.
Maybe use your name more often in the bedroom. Mark likes this.
It'll be like,
Mark's so happy.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? And he's like, no, say my name, bitch. Say my name so I know that you know who I am.
You get a little tattoo with a name tag on it. There's lots of ways to approach this cutely.
Next time you sleep with him, get those name tags. Hi, my name is. Slap one on you. Slap one on him.
Yes. But I think really you might want to look at who you are romantically. I think you might need to come out to yourself a little bit here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bobby. I'm sorry, Johnny. Like, I feel bad for you.
I am not putting down hookup apps, but I will just say that in my day of hookup apps, I was never on an app sober. Not on like Grindr. I mean, that's what it usually took me to log on.
Oh, okay.
And to put on the pictures. And I think that, you know, most of the time one guy is going to be a little bit riding high on that experience. So you can't expect people to remember you when you know that substances are kind of part of the mix a lot of times.
It is. And 9 out of 10 gay boys don't say they found their partner for life on Grindr.
No,
Grindr
I tell everybody Facebook. No, it really was Facebook. I love you, Luke. I really did find him on Facebook. But I looked for him on Grindr for years.
Yeah, that's it. Looking. Okay? Don't take it
Testing.
personal, Johnny. Okay? You are, honestly, he liked you 2 different times. So obviously you're good looking and you were good enough to take to bed, right? Not good enough to hang out with on a social setting or to call you, the next day or anything like that. If that's what you're looking for, then maybe Match is probably better for you, or Tinder or something like that. Grindr is not where you go for that.
Yeah, and take a little responsibility. You've said in both of those hookups that neither of you followed through.
Yeah, so that means you didn't follow through either. So that point. See, that's why I need Mark, all right? Okay, Johnny, good luck, Poppy. Good luck.
Good
okay?
luck.
Just say. So, folks, if you need some good advice from this lesbian gay boy, send me an email to FayWhat@happeningout.com. And that's where you can get me, all right? Maybe we'll make you a star by putting all your dirty laundry out on my show.
Maybe we'll hook you up with Johnny.
Maybe we'll hook you up with Johnny. All right?
Send
all
a picture,
right.
Johnny.
All right. I'm just saying. Okay, so Mark, anything fun that you're doing this week? We had my Hollywood party yesterday. That was a lot of fun. And now this week coming up, anything fun?
We are getting ready all this week and next week for the emo prom. This is, if y'all know Auntie Maine.
Yes.
She is a fantastic drag queen. She totally sold me on bearded drag queens, by the way.
Yes.
Before that, I was like,
about it.
You're killing the illusion. I don't like it. And then I'm like, oh, this is camp.
Great camp.
And she is so funny. Well,
Yeah.
she's one of the organizers for emo prom, and it's basically a prom for people who didn't get to do prom or who maybe weren't welcomed at their prom.
I love that.
Like I know when I went to mine, guys couldn't go together, so we had to buy couples tickets with 2 single girls.
Oh, my
And then
Lord.
exchange dates, and prom was kind of a mess. So I think this is just really inspiring, that just any gender identity, any sexuality, can really get that kind of prom experience. There's going to be vendors, links by Luke, obviously. And if you're interested in coming to emo prom, you dress however you want. You just be you.
They've had it before, right? Because I saw some pictures.
We were out of town last year when they did. I don't know if it goes further back.
Okay, I definitely last year. I saw the pictures from last year, and there were some incredible, just big latex gowns, and then other people were just very casual. It was really come as you are. But think about it. If you missed your prom, like so many people, or, you weren't really welcomed, right? This is your chance to be your true authentic self in all your glory.
Absolutely. Shotgun.live is the website where you get tickets for that. Shotgun.live.
I love that. Thank you, Mark, for
Come
joining
join us.
me. Come join us. Yeah, and I love Auntie Mame. I've interviewed her. You guys have been with me.
She's
with
the
her,
best.
and she's just amazing, 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 amazing. What a talent. What a talent. So make sure you go to Emo Prom, get your tickets. That's going to be a lot of fun.
What you doing this week?
It's my boo's birthday. Oh, my wife, yes.
Your Cuban's
Hashtag my
birthday?
Cuban. It's her birthday. She's turning 50.
Feliz cumpleaños, Teresa.
She's turning 50. She old. 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 I have to scream things a little higher.
And she's
these
with
days.
someone half her age.
I mean, I don't know how she does it. I don't know how she keeps up with me. It's a lot in my youthful glory.
And so what are you doing for your Cuban's birthday?
Oh my God. Here's the effed up part, right? It's my Cuban's birthday and it's my best friend's birthday, right? So it's also Tony Lima's birthday.
Ooh.
You're
in the Bermuda Triangle
No. So
birthday
isn't this
commitments.
hysterical? So Tony Lima and Teresa were born on the same day in the same hospital in Miami. Take that in.
I think that there is some astrology at work here.
There is some shit there.
That's
That's what's going
very
on.
interesting.
Right? So I made it a point to make sure to tell them, no, you mother effers will celebrate on different days. All right? Don't put me in the middle of that. So we're doing a big party for Mr. Tony Lima for his 50th birthday with a lot of surprises. And then we're
And they're
going to
both 50.
Yes. They were born on the same day,
birthday,
Mark.
Same year, same
They were born in
hospital.
the same hospital on the same day.
How far apart time-wise do you...
Oh, I don't know that.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I really think that those 2 Cuban ladies were they're being willed in at the same time. I swear to God.
Or they're twins separated at birth, and you have a brother-in-law that you never knew about.
Maybe. But that would explain my obsession with Tony. That really would. Anyway, but that's what I'm kind of busy. I'm kind of busy, but it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you, Mark, for joining me in bed. You know that I adore you. Will you come back next month?
I would love to spend a lot of time in this pink furry box.
You know that this pink furry box was made out of my vagina. That's why it's pink. I Brazilian wax.
That's
though,
why
but
it keeps slipping off.
And that's why it's so warm and moist.
I gotta go.
Get the
I'm
hell out of my
embarrassed.
bed. Get out of my bed. I love Mark Pettitt. Follow him on social media. I adore him. And you'll see him back here next month. Oh, my goodness. So did you know that the Happening Out Television Network studios are located at Sunshine Cathedral Square, which also houses Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church right here in Fort Lauderdale. We broadcast their Sunday service every week at 10:30 a.m. We are broadcasting from Fort Lauderdale. Did you know this is the world's #1 LGBTQ plus visitor destination? Yearly, more than 1 million LGBTQ plus visitors spend more than $1.5 billion here. Thank you. But it has to be managed. And Visit Lauderdale is the Visitors Bureau with the world's largest LGBTQ plus department for a destination management company. Out 100 winner and Senior Vice President Richard Gray is that architect at Visit Lauderdale. I have a special interview with him. Good morning, mi gente. Welcome to the FayWhat Show. Today we are joined by the Senior Vice President of Inclusion and Accessibility for Visit Lauderdale. And I have no idea what that actually means, but we're going to find out, right? That is Richard Gray. Yes, the iconic Richard Gray. He's a global travel trailblazer who continues to push the envelope to ignite social change and is one of the leading figures in the travel platform. His work with the transgender community led to Visit Lauderdale being the first DMO to be recognized by the UN for support of the transgender community. He's also a recipient of countless honors. We ain't got time to be talking about all his honors, a lot of them, including 2024 Travelability Accessibility Champions Award. Most recently, he was also honored by the country of Brazil and Argentina, the whole country, for his commitment to inclusion. I am thrilled to have Richard Gray on my show. Welcome, Richard Gray. That's my audience, Richard.
I'm exhausted. I need a drink.
You know that sometimes watching your social, I get freaking exhausted from everywhere that you're at, and you're saying you're exhausted. Wow.
I am.
Welcome to my bed, Richard. How are you,
know,
puppy?
I can't remember when I last was in bed with a woman.
Think back.
I have to say, I like it.
Do you like it?
I
Right?
like it.
As long as I don't touch you, we're good, right?
Kelly, you can touch me. Kelly, what do you think? What do you think, my little cheeky pie? What
Oh
do
my
you think?
God. So Miss Kelly is a Scotty and she is just gorgeous and she belongs to Richard Gray. And of course I was like, bring her along. You know, she gives this bed more beauty, right?
She's a princess.
Like her daddy.
Well, yeah. I'd like to say I'm a prince.
You are a prince.
I'm a prince. She's our princess.
You are. How long have you been with Visit Lauderdale now, Richard?
Permanently since 2008.
Wow, it's been that long. God, we're so blessed to have you here. I mean, and before I start this interview, I just want to tell you, thank you for all you do, okay? Like, I know that, no, I'm serious, you know? Like, your trailblazing ways have just led the way for others to do the same, you know? You are just a countless supporter of so many of our organizations, and we're going to get to a lot of that. But I wanted to get you in bed for a while. Ooh, wait, that sounded wrong.
I like it.
I wanted to get you in bed for a while because you inspire me, Richard. And when people inspire me, I want to get to know them more. I want to know more about them. You know, our community is freaking marginalized. We go through a lot of shit.
We do. We are marginalized, sadly.
You know,
I wish we weren't.
I wish we weren't, you know. So when it comes to trailblazers like you that are constantly pushing the envelope, constantly representing us wherever the F you go, in Argentina, in Brazil, wherever you go, you know, you go down to Miami, you represent us. That is how you are, you know. And so I've always been interested in how this all started. You're originally from the UK, from London.
I am from London and I'm very proud to be a Londoner.
Do you ever lose an accent once you are born in London?
I think I've lost a little bit of my accent, but when I go back home to England, then all of a sudden I have my very British accent.
Is that how it happens?
And then I come back and I think I speak more British, and then it softens a little bit. So it's kind of ebbs and flows.
Does anybody tell you you're so Americanized?
No.
No, no, never. My brother moved to London, okay, and I'm Puerto Rican Colombian. He's Puerto Rican Colombian, and like in 2 years, he sounded like a Brit, right? So he calls everybody the C word.
Right. The C word?
Yes,
Oh my
which you don't
God.
use the C word in the U.S., but in London, it's very common
Of
to
course,
use.
the C
It's
word.
like saying homegirl, you know? And so he called my sister the C word, and she
C word.
burst into tears
Oh my
because,
God. That's like being called Chelsea Football Club.
and that's bad too. Just saying, you know, and that's bad too. So you're originally from London. You worked on the London Stock Exchange.
I did. I went from school to the London Stock Exchange, and I specialised in South African mining and gold share mining. And I sort of had an incredible boss who was grooming me for bigger and better things. And I went to South Africa, spent a lot of time in Johannesburg, and ultimately I was given the opportunity to move to the United States to work in our office in New York City. And they wanted me to be the liaison between the New York office and London. So I embraced that. I was like, wow, you know, what an amazing opportunity, you know, to move to New York City.
Yes, and so New York has always had that popularity, right? And like, even in London, you're like, oh, I'm going to New York. I'm going to move to New York. I mean, like, were you thinking the hottest men in the world are in New York? I'm moving to New York.
No, I wasn't thinking the hottest men in New York, but what I was thinking was just the lure of New York, you know, the energy, that concrete jungle, you know, the vastness of it, you know, America, you know, I grew up watching, you know, American movies, and, you know, New York had, you know, such an appeal.
Yeah.
That for me was more exciting than thinking about men.
Till he got there, right?
Like, trust me, when I got there, let me tell you something. When I got there, I had a goal. And of course, my goal was to work very hard and be successful and do the best that I can. But it was also to visit every gay bar in New York City, in Manhattan. I swear to God. And I did it in a year.
Did you?
I did it in a year.
Okay, so this is what, the 80s and 90s? When is this?
This is the 80s. And so I went to some of the very famous bars, like the Mine Shaft.
Ooh, I like
Yes.
that. I love that. That's a great name for a bar, the Mine Shaft.
The Mine Shaft. Of course, the Eagle and whatever, but the Mine Shaft was a very famous bar for a multitude of reasons that I'm not going to go into.
Yeah, I bet. I bet you they had a back room like the Eagle.
Well, I know they had a front room.
The thing is, Richard never got past the front, so he doesn't even know what happened in the back. You know?
I heard they had a back room.
I bet. They probably had to start the back room because you took over the front room.
I think I was too scared to go to the back room, if truth be known, but because I think I was shy, and you know, here I was, this kind of young, innocent-ish Brit in New York City, you know, away from home, away from my family, and you know, it was exciting, but at the same time, sometimes I would have pangs of loneliness
Of course.
too, and it was adjusting to the American lifestyle. You know, it took me basically 1 year to adjust to living in New York City. You know, I didn't really find people overly friendly, or if I was lost and I would say, you know, to somebody, you know, can I help you? People would ignore me. And I was like, oh my God, why am I being ignored? I'm lost. And so it took me a while. I realized how incredible New Yorkers are. They're wonderful, amazing people.
Yes, but they don't have time for you.
They just, and I was coming from a different culture, completely different, where you would go around to someone's house and have a cup of tea, for example, or you would literally just go to a friend and just show up and knock on their door. In the United States, you don't do that.
You don't do that.
Nobody,
you throw rocks from downstairs if you go there. No.
And so it was that adjustment, adjusting from the kind of the snobbery and the social etiquette, if you like, of Britain, coming to maybe what I would use the brashness of the United States.
Yeah.
There was a brashness, a brassness, a brashness. But, at the same time, I was like, oh, man, this was amazing.
Can't wait for this new journey.
It was so exciting.
Oh, my God. I mean, come on. It's New York. It's the Village. It's, it's Broadway. It's Times Square. I'd be remiss to not mention that during that time, it was during the AIDS crisis, correct?
It was. And I would see what was going on. I'd see what was going on. I would see, people, very sick people walking around the streets, and I, got to know a lot of people. And in fact, I think it was the AIDS crisis that really made me, Richard Gray, who I am today. And I think why I have been able to accomplish so much for our community and for awareness within the allies, etc., is I became a volunteer with Larry Kramer at Gay Men's Health Crisis.
Oh, wow.
So I was one of the very early buddy team captains. I lived on Bleecker Street, 77 Bleecker Street, and that was kind of on the borders of Chelsea, when Chelsea, wasn't even popular. It was just a neighborhood Chelsea. It was not as glamorous it is now. And so I was in charge of a team. I had about 10 people. So each person had looked after a person with AIDS. And so that we would do their grocery shopping, pay their bills, shower them, do all sorts of things, talk to their family. And it was very moving for me, because when I would meet their family, often their family had disowned them. They weren't interested in them. Didn't want to touch them. And to be honest with you, from the get-go, I never wore gloves or anything when I was doing their laundry or bathing them or anything like that, because I don't know why. I didn't. For me, I knew I wasn't going to catch AIDS from bathing them, or doing their laundry. But their family were really. It disturbed me that families could disown their sons. Yeah. When they were when they were dying.
When they were dying. But they were, that time is just laced with such horrible rhetoric against our community. Right. Reagan wasn't even mentioning that this was going on. Our boys were dying at a high rate, and no one gave a shit.
But we have to thank the lesbian community. We have to thank drag queens. We have to thank hustlers. Yeah. There are people that we really owe our hats to, the transgender community. And they're the ones, when Stonewall happened, that were really there for us. And especially, during the AIDS crisis, lesbians were first and foremost there looking after their gay boys. And it was a very emotional time. It's something that I really don't talk about a lot, but I get very emotional when I talk about it, because when I left New York City and moved to Fort Lauderdale in 1991, I lost everybody I knew. Everybody I knew was dead. Wow. And it really was impactful. That was an impactful...
How could it not be?
It was just... And that changed my life. So when I came to Fort Lauderdale and I opened up the Royal Palms and I had this vision, for Fort Lauderdale, Greater Fort Lauderdale, how I always saw the destination as being a world-class destination. At that time, in the 80s and whatever, it was kind of a scrabby rust heap.
A bunch of old people were down here. It wasn't really a destination.
Old motels, $29 a night. But what Fort Lauderdale had that I visualized was the intracoastal waterway. I mean, just the ocean, the beach. And early on, it had a large gay community. Historically, it had a gay community. So it was a place that I felt very safe in, but it's a place that I knew that I wanted to be a part of. And it was a place that, I don't know why, but I just wanted to make it world class. I wanted to be a part. I wanted to be a spoke in that wheel. And I, opened the Royal Palms in 91, and very, very quickly we became one of the best well-known gay resorts, not only in the United States, but
in the world. Wow.
I literally won so many awards, rated number one every year. And, one of my claims to fame, because I always like in my marketing, everything I do, I think differently. I think differently to so many people. And so I would always be thinking and thinking out the box. And I remember I was in Hawaii one time on holiday, and I saw these beautiful dendrobium orchids. And don't ask me why, but I said to myself, I've got an idea. I am going to put a dendrobium orchid in the toilet bowl. So when guests check in
the toilet bowl. Okay.
When guests check in to one of the rooms, they're going to go to the bathroom and they're going to lift up the toilet bowl, and there, floating, is a dendrobium orchid. Deco Drive interviewed me, and they did a whole story. You can see it on YouTube.
Oh my God, I bet.
But it was amazing.
I bet.
Everyone would say, "Oh my God, an orchid."
That's a great idea. Now someone's going to steal that. When you say that you came down here just because you had lost so many of your friends, to AIDS. Did you have survivor's guilt at all when you came down here and opened up the Royal Palm?
That's survivor's guilt. I never looked at it that way, but I felt grateful to be alive, and I think, truthfully, I was in a monogamous relationship, and that's probably why
saved your ass.
That saved me.
Yeah.
And I was consumed in my career, completely consumed in my career, and then I had a second career, which was Gay Men's Health Crisis, which was being a volunteer, and I was absolutely committed to helping people in the end of their final stages of their life. I wanted to hold their hand when they left this earth. I wanted to be there for them. And
that is not something that most people say, Richard. I want to be there for someone's last breath.
I know, I did. I wanted to help them so much.
Wow.
And I felt so, I was going to swear.
You can swear?
No.
Okay, don't swear.
I felt so damn privileged. So damn privileged, like I do now.
Yeah.
But even more so then when I just saw, what they were going through with Kaposi sarcoma, with so many, PCP, with so to issues. And they didn't deserve it.
No.
Nobody deserves
of course
that.
not. No, and no one deserves to go through that. And here we are in 2024 where there's PrEP and there's all kinds of things. And I think that gay boys don't take HIV/AIDS seriously like they used to, because people live and thrive.
I think
it now.
We do live and thrive, and I'm grateful for that. But I think what I want to do is I want our youth to remember our history, because we fought. We fought hard. It was a battle. And, as I said earlier, I lost all my friends.
Yeah.
And I had a huge circle of friends. I lost them all. And I want young people to remember that. Don't take your life for granted.
No. Tomorrow's not guaranteed.
Yeah. And so, as I said, that really changed me. I'd always, the way I'd been raised by my parents was unusual, in that I was raised to be very open as far as having friends that were black or, Jewish, or I don't know. never really was raised to see color. I was never raised to see religion. I was never raised to put somebody down if they were a Muslim or if they were an Indian and they had a red dot between their eyes. They were just
another human.
They were just human beings.
Yeah.
And that is my biggest gripe nowadays, is that we've become so damn judgmental about people. And we really need to stop, breathe, reset, and start looking at people in a completely different way.
God,
and
you're so right.
move away from divisiveness and embrace people and respect them for who they are, what they are, and what they can do.
Completely, and who they are inside, you know.
Right.
I love my gay boys, right? And you know that, right? And I'm always wondering why lesbians and gays are so separated, because I always I always go back to those stories of the 80s and 90s when the gay boys were shunned by their families and they had the lesbians there by them. You know, I was raised with the understanding that lesbian and gays are under this umbrella because we're fighting for the same rights, right? So if these lesbians needed to make a baby, they could always go to the gay boys for some help, right? And vice versa. I kind of thought that was why we were all put together, you know? And here we are, 2024, and we couldn't, on some things, we couldn't be more divided.
Right, we're still layered. I know.
You know, and it's sad.
We need to work at it, all of us. It's a work in progress, and we need to work even harder than we are now.
You know, you are part of Visit Lauderdale that we love. And, you know, something that we see a lot down here in South Florida is cattiness between organizations, between places that we patronize, between all kinds of stuff, right? Something that you do is you work with all the organizations, right? And, you know, and you know, you've got that wonderful way of being one of the best sponsors to a lot of events, you know, in the area. You know, if it's Prides, you know, you're part of, Visit Lauderdale is part of everything, right? Is that deliberate?
Yes. I think we have to be Switzerland, first of all. I want to be Switzerland. And I think, you know, we're funded by, you know, we're a government agency. We're funded by TDT, Tourist Development Tax. And, you know, I try to be as impartial as I can, but I want to embrace and help as many people as I can in our community, but it's on certain terms that we have to meet. They have to meet certain criteria to receive funding from us. And, you know, one of the biggest you know, set of criteria is the room night justification. Is, you know, my role is to talk about Fort Lauderdale, to promote Fort Lauderdale, and to bring visitors here and put bums in beds, to bring conferences here. And then hopefully those conference attendees, when they come here, they're going to be like so damn blown away. They're going to say, oh my God, I'm coming back. I want to come to Wilton Manors. I want to go to the gayest city in the United States of America. I want to experience Fort Lauderdale Beach and those 24 miles of golden, gorgeous sand. That, you know, oh my God, that's the passion in me. That's why I love my job so much.
And I mean,
because I love it.
And you've been there over a decade and you still have that same passion, but it's because I think, I don't want to speak for you, like you said, Fort Lauderdale is freaking amazing. That's why, like, we live where people come to vacation, you know? And so I remember first moving here and so I came to Fort Lauderdale for a weekend and never left. That is my story, all right? That's literally my story. I came for a weekend and never left because I could not go back to gray-ass New Jersey after coming to Fort Lauderdale and seeing the beautiful beaches. And then somebody had told me, you know, this is the Venice of the United States?
Yes.
And I had no idea what that was, but I didn't think I'd ever get to the real Venice. So I was like, all right, I ain't going nowhere, you know? We've got museums. We've got botanical gardens. We've got the Everglades. We've got the Bonnet House. We've got our beaches. We have so much.
We do. We're blessed.
I'm not trying to sell it to you.
No,
you hear me?
no, but I love it. I love hearing you say that because it's true, and I enjoy your energy, and I feed off your energy and your passion. But I think what we do best at Visit Lauderdale, which nobody, and I say that not as with the big head, but what I say is we include everybody. We really do. We walk the walk, we talk the talk.
Everyone under the sun?
Everyone under the sun.
How
is our
perfect is
campaign.
that?
I mean, we talk to everybody. You know, when you're marketing, everybody wants to be spoken to. You know, whether you're a Muslim, whether you have a visible or an invisible disability, if you're plus sized, you know, if you have a different religion. I mean, you know, you want to be spoken to.
You want to be seen.
We have to speak to all travelers. I don't want to speak to just perfect, gorgeous models that are in a magazine looking fabulous, or, you know, a white couple or a token black person thrown in as a checkbox, you know. I want to reflect who we are. And I think what we do like really, really, really well. And, you know, I kudos to working for an amazing CEO, Stacey Ritter.
Love you, Stacey.
Love you, Stacey. What kudos is because we can do that. We have the freedom to do that.
Most places don't.
And why do we have the freedom to do that? Because it is the right thing to do.
Yes, sir.
And do you see other destinations doing that?
No.
I don't see other destinations doing what we're doing in the accessible platform.
No,
I don't see it at all.
And I wanted to talk about that because, you know, you talk about creating awareness for travelers with visible and invisible disabilities.
Exactly.
Okay, so what does that mean, like invisible disabilities?
So invisible disabilities would be if you were deaf.
Okay.
You know, you could have a hearing aids or whatever. If you came to me, if you checked in, you know, at the airport, you know, I don't know that you're deaf and you're not displaying that you're deaf. There's a program that we've been really, really working closely with. It was actually founded in Britain over 10 years ago.
Of course it was.
Not that I'm biased. Not that I'm biased at all, but it's the Sunflower Program, and I'm proud to say that FLL, Fort Lauderdale Airport, is a member of the Sunflower Program, and so it is for people with invisible disabilities, especially. So children that are part of the autism spectrum, for example, people that are mentally challenged, people that are deaf, people that have vision impaired. So what that does is it alerts the employees at the airport that that person might need a little bit of help. If they're looking stressed out, you know, be extra nice to them.
That's wonderful.
And I think it's that awareness is something that, you know, we're good at.
Yes.
You know, we're considerate in what we do.
No, yeah, and intentional, Richard. You know, because I don't, like, you know, like you said, like you mentioned before about like just throwing a token person in or whatever it is. And again, I'm not saying that because you're sitting next to me, Richard, okay? I've seen the commercials before you and I were friends, and I would look at a commercial and go, wow, everyone really is represented in this commercial, you know? And sometimes it feels forced. Do you understand? It does not feel forced to visit Lauderdale's campaigns. It just doesn't. But you see yourself there. You'll see yourself represented in some way, and that's just. And you know, I'm more surprised that more people don't do that. You know, and especially in a state like this that is governed by, you know, a Ron DeSantis. You know, one of the many things that I love about you is that you lend your activism to trans rights. Right? You know, things are freaking bad. Things are bad. You know, we all need to stand up for trans rights, not just trans folks, you know, you know, and you mentioned it before I can even say it. You know, you're a privileged white man.
I am.
You don't have to stand with our trans folks, with our trans community, yet you do.
But I want to, and I want to be a voice. I can use my platform to be a voice for them. And when I created our transgender initiative in 2015, I'm an avid runner, as you know. I love to run. And I do all my thinking, all my strategic planning, everything I do when I'm running along A1A or around Birch Park. I love it. And so I'm like, my mind is...
Is that when you get your epiphanies?
Yeah. I'm always like thinking, what can we do? What can we do different? What can we do? How can we make a difference? How can we push the envelope? You know, what's going to catch people's eye? And I said to myself, you know, I have a big platform. I, you know, speak everywhere, and I say LGBT, but what is T? I mean, what is T? And I knew it stood for transgender, but I didn't really know much about T. And here am I saying LGBT, LGBT, LGBT. I understand lesbian, I understand gay, I understand bisexual. So I went home to Auntie Google and I put in transgender. And then I started to just sift through everything about it. And I realized the complexity of the platform, and also how these people were just so marginalized. And, it was breaking my heart. And I've forgotten the love of me, the name of this lady. She sadly recently died, and she was an inspiration. And I came up with this strategy that, we can create a transgender initiative. Why not create a transgender marketing campaign? So we did this internal study. We flew in people from around, bless you.
Bless you, Kelly.
Bless you, my darling. We flew in people from around the United States. We had people like Robert Boo from the Pride Center. So I wanted to have the support of our local community before we made this huge leap. And boy, this is pre-Caitlyn Jenner, to leap into the transgender platform. I mean, that was a big leap.
It's huge.
I mean, it was, when I look back on it, I realized it was courageous at the time. It was courageous.
It is. It's courageous today. Yes.
I'm surprised you aren't seeing more people doing it. Of course, now we've blended everything, and the trans is part of our mainstream campaign. You have to look at our mainstream campaign to see the trans people in it. But we made that leap, and I think that is one of the best parts of my job, is making these differences, being able to be voices for the trans platform, for non-binary, for everybody. I want to be a voice.
Completely.
I want to be a voice.
Completely. There are people who get mad at us, adding letters to our acronym,
Right.
and I say F you, because the reality is that even if that needs to go 15 more letters, if it means that another person is seen, then that's it.
Right.
I mean, we've got to, if you don't know a trans person, find one. If you're not educated on the trans community, get educated. Like Richard said, you can Google at this point. The reality is that Black and brown trans women are getting killed at an alarming rate.
Shocking.
Okay. And then, a lot of them are misgendered, and, it's awful what's going on in the trans community. And we've been screaming about it for years, and we need more organizations like Visit Lauderdale to come and say, no, we're here for the entire community, not just, not just the letters that we're comfortable with, or that we know more about,
But to use our tagline, we are everyone under the sun. We welcome everyone under the sun, and we welcome you with wide open, loving, welcoming arms. And
Yes,
I
you
love
do.
that.
Yes, you do.
I mean, what destinations are out there? When I see what's happened in the state, and over the last year and a half, I don't know, time goes by so quickly, and I see what's happened. I mean, this is the only county that has spoken out. We have spoken out for everybody. We're still marketing to our community. We're not changing our tune.
No.
We're out there, and we're proud about that.
We are, and we're such an incredible LGBTQ plus destination. Folks in Kentucky, Arkansas, Idaho, all those places I'm never going to go, pack a bag and get your ass to Fort Lauderdale, all right? Let's talk about, you know what? Let's talk about Stacey Ritter. We're talking about Stacey. Stacey's going to be on my show in the next couple of weeks, so look out for that. I have a little crush on her. The last time I saw Stacey, I gave her a lap dance.
She's a rock star.
Wasn't asking
Stacey,
for it.
I'm talking about, is a rock star. Faye, of course, is.
FayWhat? She is a rock star, though. So Stacey and Visit Lauderdale and you had a wonderful beginning of the year. January 1st was just kick ass to be able to turn on the TV and see the Rose Bowl parade and to see
Goosebumps.
Visit Lauderdale's, wait, I'm getting goosebumps too. First ever float.
I know.
Richard, okay, folks at home, take a second. This is huge, like huge. And Stacey Ritter was at the helm of it and making sure that it was going to be impeccably perfect, just how she's so detail oriented that I wasn't, surprised at how beautiful the float came out, the inclusivity on the float. Who was on the float?
Well, first of all, it was Stacey's idea, 101%. Period. She wanted to do it.
Okay.
She said, "This is something I want to do," and we did it.
Was there a hesitation? I mean, it's California. We've never done it. It's a lot of money. Like,
there was no hesitation on Stacey's part, none whatsoever.
Stacey was like, "We've got to do this."
And there was no hesitation on my part.
Because you're scared of Stacey. I get it.
I am not scared of Stacey. I always say I'm older.